So the idea of surrender is about its equanimity, and it's the very tricky and deep skill of allowing reality to be what it is. That most of the time we're trying to negotiate and push on reality, and we're putting all this energy and effort into trying to direct things to go the way we want them to go. And so the surrender is saying, actually, there's nothing wrong with bearing down. There's a kind of dialectic in life between bearing down and easing up, between using your will and surrendering to kind of the larger unfolding, but that we're overcompensated in the direction of bearing down. And that the surrender is this practice of letting go and letting what's already happening in the world sort of take you along. And then you can kind of have these miniature acts of bearing down, of acting within that flow that end up being far more effective because they're in line with what seems to be rolling out anyway. So it's a very deep practice. You know, the practice of surrender just goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, because you can always notice another layer in which you're actually fighting with your experience still. And then you realize, oh gosh, all this energy in this layer is bound up and really trying to make this kind of thing happen. And then eventually you can kind of notice it, and there can be a letting go, and then this great release of energy. That's why people often talk about this surge of vitality and life when they right after they let go. And then you're letting go, and then you feel like you're in the stream, and all of a sudden then you kind of realize there's another layer that of something you've been holding on in some way, in which some constriction because you're so scared or fearful or whatever it is. And that's the continual process in a practice, is this process of, it's kind of like exfoliating the layers, going through these layers of rigidity and coagulation and getting ever more free. So, and then ever more, and then you get to this paradoxical place in a practice where it feels like the bearing down and the surrender are one thing in a way, where you're so open to how reality is that the exact right pulses of effort of bearing down seem to just emerge spontaneously through you. They're part of what wants to happen in the moment kind of thing. So you have this paradoxical action, which is the classic kind of contemplative thing, the doing without a doer. You know, surrender is super relevant for our lives because it's a way to kind of recalibrate with what's really going on and free up all of this energy.